Hello, good day from wherever you are watching us. You're all welcome to our session for today. You're welcome. So just say hello, say hi. If you're joining us, let us know. Okay. All right. Okay, we are here. All right. You're welcome. My name is Chama Odikulu. You're welcome today. Thank you for joining us and you're welcome to our session for today. So today we'll be studying and we'll be doing our book review as we did said. So this month we'll be studying two books. Okay, we studied Mindset by Carol Dweck and we're going to be looking at this other book, the second book, which is called Grit. It's a very good book. It's very interesting. I've learned a lot by reading it and I believe we're going to learn one or two by going through or joining in with this review. So if you're joining us, say hello, say hi, let us know where you're joining us from. What are your expectations today? So we'll go straight into our conversation of today. So that we're going to be reviewing the first part of this book called Great. It's a book written by Angela Duckworth. Now, what is great? Let us move straight into our review for today and let us be interactive. Just let us know. Say hi, say hello. Let us know where you're streaming from. Just drop it in the comment section. What are you picking from the session? Let it be interactive. All right, let us move on. You're welcome. My name is Shoma Odikolu. All right, so Grit by Angela Duckworth. Now we're going to learn what grit is and why grit matters. So what is grit? What is even the meaning of this grit? Why does it even matter? Why do I need to be concerned and bothered about what grit is? How does grit even relate to me? As a person, as an individual, as a mother, as a father, how does grit relate to me? Now, what if I tell you that talent isn't the secret to success? Now, talent is not the secret to success. Most of us, we feel that talent is everything. When you have talent, you're settled or you're sorted. But if I tell you today that talent is not the secret to success, now what if your child's future isn't determined by their IQ? What if the future of your child isn't determined by just their IQ alone? Funny, right? Or strange, right? Yes, but something even deeper. So the future of our children, our success is determined by something deeper, and it is called grit. Now, it's actually shocking. Now, that is what Angela Duckworth in her book tried to explain to us what grit is. So we're going to be learning what grit is, why grit matters. And in this book, Angela Duckworth, she unpacked one of the most transformational ideas that can help us as parents, that can also help our children to develop, that can help us in personal development. Now, grit, not genius, is what builds greatness. So what builds greatness is grit, not just genius. Now, we're going to dive into the insight of this book. We're going to learn what grit is about. Why does grit even matter? Now, the first section we're going to be studying in this book says showing up, the power of consistency over time. Now, in this book, the author of this book started off with a truth that most times we as parents often overlook in our fast-paced world. Now, success belongs to those who keep showing up. Success belongs to those who keep showing up. Success does not belong to those who show up and stop, but success belongs to those who keep showing up. Now, as parents, how often do you praise yourself or your children when they succeed quickly, but forget to share them when they struggle? So, as parents, how often do we praise our children? How often do we praise ourselves when we succeed quickly, but we forget the process? We forget the struggle. We forget how persistent we were. We forgot how we kept on trying. Now, the author of this book tried to tell us that grit begins with showing up. Even when the journey is long, but you keep showing up. Even when the journey is hard, but you keep showing up. Even when the journey is unimpressive, but you keep showing up. That is what grit is. Now we're going to learn how we're going to teach our children to show up. So for example, as a parent, you have a child that is practicing a musical instrument, for example. Maybe they are practicing to learn the piano. Do they stop halfway? Do they tell you at some point, oh mom, dad, this thing is so boring, I'm going to stop halfway? Or did they keep trying? Or you have a toddler that is learning how to probably tie their shoelaces. Do they try one and they tell you, oh, mom, dad, I'm tired, I don't want to continue again? Now, we must teach our children to keep showing up. We must teach ourselves to keep showing up. We must teach ourselves to be consistent. We must teach ourselves not to get to some point and end, not to get to some point and stop, because that is what grit is. Now, when we learn that we need to show up, it helps us as parents. It helps us to also teach our children on how they can build resilience. So for this session, what we are picking from this session is that we as parents must keep showing up, and we must teach our children to keep showing up, even when it is hard, even when the journey is unimpressive, even when it is not interesting, even when to us or to our children it is boring. We must keep showing up, and we must not stop. We must get to the end. Then the second part we're going to be studying is distracted by talents. Why we are looking at the wrong thing. So most of us as parents, as individuals, we get so distracted by talent. We keep on focusing and looking at the wrong thing. Now, this chapter is going to enlighten our minds why we as parents, we as adults, we should focus on what is important. We should not just look at talent alone. But even though talent is important, there are so many other things we can begin to put our focus on. Now, we learned that as parents, we must be patient while we put in the efforts. As I said earlier, even when the process is difficult, we must keep at it. Now, for example, most parents, you praise your child. Some parents praise their children. They say, this child is a gifted child. This child gets all A's and all that. But do you focus on the process of that child getting all A's? Do you focus on the process that this child is resilient? This child keeps trying at it. So the goal is not to look at, okay, this child is gifted. This child is talented. This child had all A's. This child is an A-list student. That is not the goal. It is very important. It is beautiful. But we should also remember the process. We should also remember the persistency. We should also remember the work that was put in to get that result. Now, the mindset shift, in the other book we studied, Mindset by Carol Dweck, Carol Dweck termed this as a fixed mindset. When you're in that trap of a fixed mindset. The trap of a fixed mindset is the trap that says, oh, I'm a gifted person, I don't need to learn. Oh, my child is so talented in this, my child does not need to learn. That is a trap of a fixed mindset. When you believe that your abilities are static, that is a trap of a fixed mindset. But with grit, we get to understand that we have to work, we have to come from a growth mindset. The belief that effort leads to improvement, that is grit. When we believe that our effort leads to improvement, that is great. So as a parent, we should stop telling our children things like, you're so smart. When you tell your child you're so smart, you're just creating a fixed mindset. You're teaching the child that, okay, you don't need to improve, you don't need to work at yourself, you're just good, everything is static. No, rather we should begin to tell our children, I love how hard you worked on this. So for example, if your child has done very well in school, they have a good result, they've done a project, they did so well, instead of telling the child that, oh, you're just a smart child, you're just an intelligent child, what if you begin to tell the child things like, I love the way you worked at this? What if you begin to focus on the process that got that child to that point? Now begin to praise the effort, not just the ease. Begin to praise the effort, not just the end result. So that is it. So we should learn to focus on the process, focus on the effort, not just the end result. Don't label your children. Don't make your children feel, okay, I'm so good, I'm smart, I don't need to work on myself, I don't need to improve on myself. No, focus on the process. Affirm them from the point of the process. Affirm them from the point at which they put in the work, not just the end result. Then the third aspect we're going to look at in this book, effort counts twice. The secret formula for achievement. So our effort counts twice. Who says that effort is not important? Who says that effort is not necessary? Who says that we don't have to put in the effort? I am here to tell us that our effort counts twice. And that is one of the secret formula to our achievements. Now, in this book, we learned that talent and effort will give us skill, and skill and effort gives us achievement. So effort counts twice. Because first of all, we must build the skill. Then when we have the skill, we can now move to achievements. Now we must understand that as our children are growing, they need to put in the effort over time. It's not something that they're going to try once and say, oh, I'm done, I'm not trying again. No, they need to put in the effort over time, because our effort counts twice. Our effort is important in our success. Our effort is important in anything we want to achieve in life. Likewise, the effort of our children. So we must always teach our children to put in their best effort over time. We must also teach ourselves as parents to put in our best effort over time. You don't try once and say, oh my God, I did not get it, I'm not trying again. No, you must put in your best effort over time. Now, as parents, this challenges us too. What if the next breakthrough isn't about just talents, but it's about we being consistent, we being focused, we put in the effort. So as a parent, are you putting in the effort into what you're doing? You're raising your children, you're parenting them. Do you raise them and say, oh my God, I'm tired of correcting these children, I'm tired of teaching the same thing over and over again? Or are you putting in the effort? Because effort counts twice. That is the message we should take from this. Effort counts twice. Our effort is so important, and the effort for our children is so important. So at every point in time, we should always tell ourselves, we should always bring into our best effort into anything we do, because our effort is so important in us achieving our success. Then the other part we're going to be studying in this book, say, how gritty are you? How gritty are you as an individual? How gritty are you as a parent? How gritty is your child is? How can you measure your ability to stay true to the end of something? Now, grit isn't a gift, it's a muscle. Grit isn't a gift, it's a muscle. And like all muscles, it grows with use. So your grit grows with use. Our grit, my grit, the grit of your child grows with use. Now, we want to raise our children. Are you raising your child to be gritty? Are you raising your child to just to keep to the end of a project? Or are you raising your child that when they get to a point, they are just tired, they stop and they don't continue? Even we as parents, are we gritty enough? You pick up a book to read and you get to the middle of the book and you're tired, you just drop it and you don't go back to pick up that book again. Do you stay to the end of a process, or do you just start up something and you just leave it? For example, some of us, you're attending a course, you're doing a program, you're doing something, a project, you just start and you dump it halfway. We must learn to get to the end. We must learn to put in the effort. We must learn to work to the very end. That will help us to build our grits. So we need to be intentional about raising gritty children. Even we as parents, we have to be gritty. And when I say gritty, it means we have to stay committed even when things get hard, even when the journey is unimpressive, as I said earlier, even when it is uninteresting, even when there is no applause, even when there is no like, even when nobody seems to be seeing what we're saying, or even when nobody seems to be understanding what we are doing. We must learn to get to the end, even when it is difficult. So as parents, we must model consistency in everything we do. We must model consistency to our children, not just charisma. So we must model consistency as we pursue our goals. We must try our best to get to the very end. You don't start to pursue a goal and you leave it halfway. You don't start to pursue a goal and you say, oh my God, I am tired, this is the end. No, you must get to the end. I must get to the end. We must get to the end. That is what can test or measure our skill of how gritty we are, our ability to stay to the very end, even when it seems difficult, even when everything seems like it's not working. We must stay to the very end. It is one key success. It is one key requirement to our success. So as a parent, you must be gritty. I must be gritty. And when I say gritty, I mean the ability to stay committed to the very end. And we must teach our children to be gritty as well. Then the other session we're going to be studying in this book, say grit grows. Our grit grows. The hopeful truth about human potential. Our grit grows. Now, grit can grow. Grit is not something that you say, oh my God, I don't have grit, I cannot wait to the very end. No, I cannot wait to the end, so I can't grow it. No, grit can grow. You're not born gritty. Your child isn't just not motivated. Grit can be cultivated through 4 key ingredients, which we are going to study later on in this book. So please follow up with the review. Grit can be cultivated. You know, in the book, the author talked about 4 ways we can motivate our grit. She talked about interest, practice, purpose, and hope. But the takeaway here is that there is hope. Even when you feel like you're the parent that has not always been staying true to the end, even when you feel you've not been committed to the end, the good news is that grit can grow. The message is that grit can grow. It doesn't matter how many projects you've dropped halfway. It doesn't matter if you've dropped that course halfway. It doesn't matter if you've dropped something halfway. It doesn't matter if you've picked up a book, you've dropped it halfway. You've not read the book for the past 1 year, 2 years. It doesn't matter how you dropped that thing halfway. The good news, the message for us today is that our grit can grow. Our grit can grow. So you must just be focused. Just tell yourself, this thing, I can work on it. I can improve on myself. I can grow. I can build the muscle that can help me to stay true. So your grit can grow. Nobody was born gritty. We all learn it. We learn it. We discipline ourselves to be gritty. We raise ourselves. We build the muscle. So today, begin to tell yourself that I can raise myself. I can build the muscle to be gritty. And when I say gritty, I mean ability to be committed to the very end. So your grit can grow. My grit can grow. Our grit can grow. We can learn to be committed to the very end. Yes, it can grow. So what we're going to be learning in summary of our book review for today is that grit matters. As a parent in raising your children, even for yourself, grit matters. Our children don't need us to be perfect. They don't need us to be perfect. They don't need us to be the smartest. Rather, we don't even really need them to be the smartest or the fastest in their field or in their class. What our children need from us is grit. And what we need from our children is grit. What we need to teach our children is grit. Don't be so focused on talent that you forget about grit. Don't be so focused on gifts. You say your child is a gifted child that you forget about grit. Grit is the tenacious spirit that doesn't quit. The tenacious spirit that doesn't quit. A tenacious spirit that keep at it. Even when all odds, even when everything is not working, even when everyone says no, even when the journey seems unimpressive, even when the journey seems uninteresting, even when the road seems so lonely, even when it seems so boring, even when you're out there, there's no like, there's no upload, nobody is seeing what you're doing, but the tenacious spirit that doesn't quit, your ability to keep at it, your ability not to quit, that is what we need. That is the ability for you to be gritty. That is what we need to raise ourselves with, to stay true to the very end. That is what we need to raise our children with, to stay true to the very end. And it begins with you as a parent. It begins with me. Because our children are modeling what we do. Our children are looking at us and soaking up everything we're doing because we are mirrors in front of our children. You are the first teacher of perseverance. As a parent, I am the first teacher of perseverance. You are the first teacher of perseverance. You are the coach, the first coach of your child as a parent. I am the first coach of my children. We are the first coach of our children. So we must be consistent. Are you a consistent coach? You are the first consistent coach your child will know. So the question is, are you consistent? Am I consistent? We are the models of our children. Remember, our children can learn grit from us. So that is what we need to remember. That grit starts with us. Perseverance starts with us, showing the examples to our children. Consistency starts with us, doing the work and showing the examples to our children. So are you gritty? Are you consistent? Do you stay true to the end? Do you wait and stay? Do you keep on putting in your effort in whatever you do? Or do you get to some point and say, oh my God, you know this thing, I'm just tired? No. Our children are learning grit from us, so we must stay to the end. So we must remember these quotes. Endurance is rare, but enthusiasm is common. Endurance is rare. So are you going to be that parent that will teach your child how to endure to the very end? Success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It's courage that counts, by Winston Churchill. It is courage that counts. Are you courageous enough as a parent? That is what counts. Let us not grow weary. Even the Bible says it. Let us not grow weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap the harvest if we do not give up. So we should not give up. Don't give up on your goals. Don't give up on your dream. Don't give up on your child. Don't give up on yourself. Don't give up on your parenting. Don't give up on your dreams. Don't give up on who you are. Don't give up on that thing you've started. Don't give up. We must be committed to whatever we do, because grit is passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Our grit is passion, is perseverance. So are you going to persevere? Are you going to be passionate and follow that thing to the very end? So as a parent, what are the things we can start to do from today to build this muscle of grit? Number one, learn to celebrate effort, not just talent. Celebrate your effort. The effort you're putting into that project, celebrate it. The effort your child is putting into that project, celebrate it. Don't just wait to celebrate the talent. Reframe praise in your home. Don't praise the child that has cleaned the plate so beautiful or so neat. Don't praise when everything is 100%. Don't be the parent that keep complaining and keep on looking out for fault. Oh, this is not done. This is not done. Learn to celebrate the effort. Your child has moved from point A to point B. Can you celebrate it? Your child was not able to say number one. The child cannot say 1, 2, 3. Can you celebrate it? Don't wait till the child is able to say 1 to 100 before you say, well done, my child. You're doing well. No, learn to celebrate effort. Every tiny detail, every progress, every improvement. As parents, we must learn to celebrate it. That is one of the steps that can help us to build grit in ourselves and in our children. Talk about your grit stories. Share stories of real life experiences of people that did not give up. Share your experiences with your child. Share your experiences with your children. The times you did not give up. The times things were difficult, but you kept at it. Share your experiences with your children. Age appropriate experiences. Remember, it must be age appropriate. There are people in the Bible we can learn from. There are people that did not give up. For example, Joseph. Share those stories with your children. For example, Ruth. For example, Nehemiah in the Bible. Share those experiences of people that did not give up. With this, you help your child to build the muscle of grit. Now, build rituals of consistency. Whether it's your family devotion, be consistent. Build a ritual of consistency. Whether it's your chores, be consistent. Whether it's your journaling, be consistent. Create daily grit habit. Be consistent at that thing you do. The truth is that when your children see you consistent, they will learn. If you're a parent that journals, your child will see that, oh, my mom journals, my dad journals. They will learn. So build consistency. If you do your devotional, be consistent in your devotional. If you're doing your chores, be consistent with your chores. Anything you do, be consistent in it. When you do that, you teach your child how to grow up with grit. Then model what you preach. Show what perseverance look like through your own life. So as parents, we must model what we preach. We must show our children what perseverance look like through our own life. Don't teach perseverance and when things get difficult, you're doing something different from what you've been teaching. We must model what we preach to our children. Then finally, we now pray for resilience. After we must have done all the work, after we must have done everything we need to do, then we come in and pray for resilience. You ask God to give you the grace to stay true after we must have done all we need to do. So you can create a grit creed in your home. For example, you can say, in our home, we don't quit. In this family, we don't quit. In this family, we finish what we start. In this family, we grow. In this family, we keep showing up because we are gritty with God's help. So create your own creed. What is that creed you're going to create in your home that can help yourself or your children build grit? As I just said, for example, you could say things like, in our home, we don't quit. In our home, we grow. In our home, we keep showing up because with the help of God, we can be gritty. So what would you be doing differently as a parent? Are you going to build in the grit muscle? Thank you, sir, for joining us. You're welcome, sir. The mentor dad. Thank you, sir. Are you going to build in your own muscle of grit? Are you going to teach your child how gritty they should be? So get to work today and begin to learn to build grit, because grit is one of the ingredients of success. Grit is one of the ingredients for us to achieve anything we want to achieve today. So I commit us and I charge us today that whatever you do, always remember to be gritty. Whatever you do, always put grit. Remember to be committed to the very end, even when it is unimpressive, even when to you it is boring, even when it is uninteresting, even when the road is a road that is not followed by every other person, but you know where you're going to. Just stay true to the very end, and that is your power. That is the ability for you to grow, or for you to raise your children or yourself with grit. So I encourage us to, in whatever we do, remember to put in grit. Remember to be consistent. Stay true till the very end, even when it is hard. Stay true to the very end. So that is it for our book review today. Thank you for joining us. We're going to have a quick break and we'll come back for our webinar. Thank you. Drop in the comment section, what are you going to be doing differently? What did you pick from this session? Share this video. Let other people get to know how they can learn to stay to build in grit in themselves and in their children. So thank you for joining us, and we'll be right back for our webinar. Thank you, and see you in some minutes. Thank you. Bye.